In this video we'll review the various methods for localizing a grid or UX component. So let's start out with a trivially simple UX component that has two controls with a label that says first name and last name, and let's design this component so that those labels can be displayed in different languages. So to do that, there are two different possible techniques. One is using language tags and the other is using text dictionary tags. So let's go down and find the label in the component. So you can see there's label, and if we look at the help over here, we can see that we can either wrap the label in a language tag, which is A5:R, and then a closing slash A5:R, or a text dictionary tag, which is A5:T. So we're going to discuss both of those techniques. Let's start though with the language tag. So let's go here and wrap this in a language tag. So I'll go here and type in A5:R and then type in the closing slash A5:R tag. So now at this point we've wrapped it in the language tag, but we haven't actually defined anything. So if we go and render it right now, we'll see that it renders exactly as it did before, because we haven't yet defined what this language tag is. So now let's go to properties, and we'll go here to language definitions, and we can see that we can now extract all of the language tags that have been used in the component by clicking this button here. So that pulls out the first name language tag, and then let's go here and just type in the value of this language tag when we're using the default language. So I'll just go here and type in first name in default, and then now let's go and define a new language. So I'll go here and I'll type in, say, French, and then go ahead now, then click the refresh button to get the placeholders, and then I'll go here and type in, say, first name in French. So now you can see that for testing purposes we're going to set the active language to default. So if I run this now, you can see it says first name in default. But if I go here and I change my active language to French, and then I run the component, I can see that it now says first name in French. Now I'm typing in the value French here because I'm testing the component, but in a running component, when the user logs in, presumably you would know whether this user is a French speaker or an Italian speaker or whatever his preference is, and you would set a session variable called underbar protected underbar active language, and this session variable will define the language that is going to be used for this component. So you can see here that I can go and I can define as many languages as I want, and then for each language I give the corresponding value for the language tag. So in this case the language tag is actually the meaningful label first name, but it could be anything. It could just be, say, tag 1 or tag 2, etc. So one of the key things to note here is that the language definition is stored with the component. So in the next video we're going to discuss not language tags but text dictionary tags, which differ from language tags primarily in the sense that the definitions are stored in a database rather than actually with the component itself. So let's pause now and pick it up in the next video where we'll talk about text dictionary tags. We're continuing now our discussion on localizing grid and UX components, and we've discussed how language tags can be used. So let's go back now and discuss text dictionary tags. So we'll go to this last name control here, and instead of using an A5:R, we're going to use A5:T. So we'll go there and type in A5:T, and then type in our closing A5:T. And so now we've defined the text dictionary tag, but we haven't yet specified the replacement value. So let's go back now to properties, and we can see here we have text dictionary tags, and there's a smart field. So when we bring up the smart field, it tells us that we haven't yet defined the actual text dictionary itself, and we need to go to project properties. So let's go now to our project properties. So we'll go there now, click on project properties, and then you can see here we have an entry called text dictionary settings. So let's define the SQL connection string to the table that is going to contain our text dictionary. So we'll go there and we'll choose a SQL connection. So we'll just go here and we'll choose, say, a MySQL database, and then we'll give it a name. So let's go here and just call this a My Text Dictionary 2. And then, since we don't have that table yet in my MySQL database, let's have Alpha Anywhere create the table for us automatically. So we'll just click this hyperlink there, and that's going to go ahead now and create a table for us, and then automatically fill in the mapping field. So now we have a new table that's been created called My Text Dictionary 2, and now that we've done that, we can go back to the builder here, and we can click on the text dictionary smart field, and we can see here that this component has a tag called last name, but nothing has yet been defined for it. So let's go ahead now and create a new entry. So we'll create one for the default language. That means we can just leave it blank, and now we can go here and we can say value last name default. So this is going to be the value that's used to replace that tag for the default language. So we can go ahead now and click OK, and that fills in the value now. So the replacement value is being stored now in a SQL database, and the replacement value itself can be any HTML that you want. So in this case we've just chosen a static string, but we could just as easily have chosen something with bold or italic or any HTML markup, and the replacement value can be as long as you want. There's no limit to, just using a short string like this. So now let's go here and create the French version. So there's French, and now we'll define the value, and I'll say last name in French. But then, just to show how we can actually use HTML markup here, let's actually put tags in the markup here to indicate that the word French is going to be in bold. So now here we have the value of the text dictionary replacement for last name in the default language and in French. So we'll go ahead and close that now. So now let's go and run. So here what we see is the replacement value is last name in French coming from the database, and then we switch back to the default language. And now when we go to working preview, we can see that it now says last name default value. So the ability to define language tags in both the language dictionary and also in the text dictionary is extremely powerful, and it gives you great flexibility in localizing UX and web components. The last thing I'd like to mention is that another thing that you might want to localize is the date format. So you can see here's the date format defined, but just like the default language can be defined using a session variable, so too can the date variable. So the date variable can also be set by using a session variable called underbar protected client-side date format. Thanks very much for watching.